I read a total of 2 Toni Morrison books in 1 month, and I feel like that redeems me because April was a mess. It was a mess. I don't know what was going on with how many books I read. And I know it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, but I'm a better person when I'm reading consistently. Hi, friends. Welcome back, or welcome to Shelbey in the Book Club. I am Shelbey Monet, and in today's video, we are going to go over everything that I've read in the month of May. If you would like anything that you see in this video, it will be linked down below in the underneath bar. It is called the underneath bar because it is where underneath the video, just click the little box, everything pops up. Let's get into it for this time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, if you like to hear it, here you go. All the stats that you are going to see on the screen are from an app called Storygraph, which is a Black-owned, Black-run reading tracker app that I absolutely love. I think it's better than Goodreads. I know people want to boycott Amazon for valid reasons, and I think one way that you can do that is switching to Storygraph. I think it just works a little bit better. I think you can get the stats that you're actually looking for. I like the community aspect of it. It's just a really good app. Is there a bit of a learning curve? Maybe. I think y'all are being a little dramatic when y'all talk about that, to be honest. I think y'all just don't like doing new things. But anyway, so for the month of May, I read a total of 9 books. That is 2,875 pages. 11% of them were over 500 pages. 33% were 300 to 500 pages. And 56% were less than 300 pages. All of it was fiction. There were no nonfiction. I'm going to attempt to fix that this month. I've just been slacking on that particular goal, but my reading has been a little bit slower. Also just haven't been in the mood. So I'm gonna figure it out. My top genres were literary, romance, classics, magical realism, and historical. Very good. For once, romance is not number one. And 33% were digital and 67% were physical books. I didn't do any audiobooks this month. I did do a lot of immersive reading, so that's why that's shocking. But I guess I didn't listen to anything like all the way through. And for those at the back of the church that may be new here, I don't do star ratings anymore. They just don't make sense to me, and I don't think there's a cohesive way for me to do that and like make it make sense. So I just tell y'all if I liked a book or if I didn't like it. I tell y'all why I liked it. I tell you why I didn't like it, whatever, just in case you're new here. So let's get into the digital books, the ebooks that I read. First we have Velvet and Venom. This is a romance by Dominique Black. It's funny how when these like stuff your Kindle days happen, I just be downloading books and don't be realizing what I'm downloading, and then somebody will post a book and I go and look and I have like the entire series on my Kindle already. This is what happened with this particular series. I've only read Velvet and Venom. This tells the story of a couple. So Miss Girl is not looking for love. Her name is Honey. She is a midnight ballerina. That's a stripper for the people at the back of the church. During the day, she is going to school. Miss Girl is about her money, doing her thing. She's dating here and there, using men for their money, as you should, girl, because pay me, okay? And she's okay with that. And then this guy shows up, and King is the head of this particular syndicate. She doesn't really know who he is, but he is applying pressure immediately. He knows that he wants her, and I love to see it. There is a plot twist that involves mental health and involves why she didn't really want to be in a relationship and why she feels the way she does about men. I thought that was cool. It wasn't really spicy to me. There are some sex scenes, but it's nothing that's going to make you sweat. I did like King though. I liked him a lot. Next we have Kasim. This one was a little interesting. This one is by Barbie Amore. I don't know if I've read anything by Barbie Amore before. Nothing is sticking out, but these two girls, it's New Year's Eve. They want to go to this party. Their mother, they tell their grandmother, one of the grandmothers, because they're besties, where they're going, and she's like, y'all need to stay away from that place, blah blah blah. This in turn intrigues them and makes them want to go even more, so they do. And one of them wins the jackpot. She then doesn't win money. She has to stay, in order to get the money, she has to stay in the place for 7 days with this beast-like man and like possibly have sex with him and like all of this stuff. And they end up falling for each other. It was interesting. I believe there are other books. It was good. It was good. And then y'all know I love Dre Anderson. I read As Luck Would Have It. This is the first book in the Aces series. This tells the story of a tiger shifter. His name is Ezra Kane. He is the head of an assassin guild, and he just got made the Ace of Spades. And it's not official yet. It's within the first year. We're leading up to the event where he'll officially be taking over his grandfather's place, but he is looking into his grandfather's murder because it just seems suspicious to him. Something is not clean in the Kool-Aid and he wants to know what. As he's going to this meeting with his godfather, whom is also his grandfather's best friend, he hears this woman laughing. It happens to be Lucky, who, if you have read like Devin and, well, I can't think of his brother's name, but if you've read some of Dre Anderson's other books, you will remember Lucky being mentioned because her cousins are the female main characters in some of the other books. But he hears her laugh. He sees who it is. He immediately wants to know who she is. He pays for their lunch at this very fancy restaurant, and then they run into each other, and he is immediately applying pressure. She is a panther shifter, and she is weary because she finds out who he is. He tells her, and she doesn't know how her parents are going to feel about this type of person. But because they're shifters, their mating is fated, so there isn't really anything that she can do about it. She can only deny herself fate and her animals so much. I love shifter romances. I love the love at first sight thing. I love the intense connection. There's a scene where he's edging her as punishment, and I like Ezra. I like Ezra. Dre Anderson is always gonna have a fan in me. I like the way the story came together. I like seeing some of the other shifters. Why can't I think of what them babies' names is? Devin and Declan. Those are the two werewolf brothers. I really enjoyed those when I read them. Was that last year? Yeah, last February I read them. So it was good seeing them in this book and their wives. That was really cool. So Dre Anderson has become one of those, if she writes her grocery list on the back of a McDonald's napkin, I'm crumbled up, throwing the garbage, I'm gonna pick it out the garbage and read it. Okay. So that was very, very good. And those were the 3 ebooks that I read. Let's get into my physical reads. All of these except for one I immersive read. So first we have Sing Unburied Sing. This was the book club pick. My book club let me know that they had not read any Jesmyn Ward. And I was like, y'all not fixing to sit up here and embarrass me. Y'all is not fixing to do that. This tells the story of JoJo, who is turning 13, and he is going on this trip with his mother and his baby sister to pick his father up from prison. He is mixed race. He has this like spiritual connection that he doesn't really realize. But he doesn't have a good relationship with his mother because she's on drugs. He doesn't really have a good relationship with his father because his father been in and out of jail and his father is white. He's really close with his black grandparents, because that's who have mostly taken care of him and his baby sister. Once they get to the prison, he picks up a ghost. And we learn that this ghost has a connection to his grandfather. And it's this really deep conversation about having to heal in order to move forward, and that's not just a thing that we have to do physically, but it's something that we have to do spiritually as well. It's a very, very good book. Jesmyn Ward really can do no wrong in my eyes. I've read all her books multiple times at this point. She really is, to me, the love child of Toni Morrison and like Zora Neale Hurston. If you have not read Jesmyn Ward yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Next, I read Beloved by Toni Morrison. This is one of my all-time favorite books. This tells the story of Setha and her haunted house. Setha is a formerly enslaved woman who is ostracized by the town because she murdered one of her children. And the reason that she did that was to prevent her baby from going back into slavery with her, because she ran away. She was going to be captured. It ended up with her being put into prison, or jail. And it goes into this deep dive of the things that are haunting you and how those hauntings don't just impact you, but it impacts everybody around you, right? So this ghost that's haunting her house is her baby. But then one day, a woman shows up on her doorstep, dressed in black, and brand new shoes and baby soft hands, and is that's all I'm gonna say. We also meet Denver, who is Setha's daughter. And we just get to see multiple sides. We also meet Paul D, who is somebody who is back on Sweet Home, which is the plantation that Setha and Paul D comes from. And it's a really good ghost story. It's a ghost story. It's heavy, it's deep, it's intricate, it's thought-provoking. I love how tangible a haunted house is. Or the personification, I should say, of our ghost. I like that. I'm reading through some Toni Morrison because I am doing a reading group with the Center for Fiction. And we're going to read Beloved, Jazz, Paradise, and Love. I have vlogs going for all of them. The one for Beloved is up. I'll tag it in the corner if you want to watch that. The one for Jazz is going to be combined with the one for Paradise because I missed the discussion for this one. But anyway, this is a really good book. I think this is one of Toni Morrison's books that are on the easier side of things. I think if you enjoyed Sula, you will also enjoy Jazz. There is an anonymous narrator to this. Jazz, Beloved, Jazz, and Paradise are technically a trilogy that are all analyzing different types of love. And Jazz tells the story of two people that I think were a match made in heaven. Violet and Joe Pace. Joe Pace is cheating on his wife with someone that is significantly younger than him. And he in turn ends up killing her. Her name is Dorcas. He kills Dorcas. Violet then in turn goes to Dorcas's funeral and cuts her face. And it kind of unravels this story of like this crazy couple. Why is Violet doing this? What will love make you do when you're in like a bind sort of situation? It's a very good story. It's very, very messy. I think what is important, I think, with reading Toni Morrison, and I think we are very lucky to be in a generation where we have editions of Toni Morrison that have not only great introductions by really good authors, but also they have forwards by Toni Morrison. So if you can get the new editions, get the new editions, because the forwards really place you where she wants you to be and explain things like the cadence or where her thought process was when she was writing the story, and will fill in a lot of the blanks that I think people have when it comes to reading her work. I think Toni Morrison is really polarizing for a lot of different reasons, but I think what I hear when I hear people talk negatively about Toni Morrison is that y'all are not understanding what y'all are hearing or reading. Excuse me. Y'all are not. That's what I'm hearing, is that y'all are not understanding it, because Toni Morrison's work is always going to meet you where you are, and that can make people feel away. It can make people feel inadequate. It can make people feel, which I understand. So I thoroughly enjoy. It was my like 4th, 5th time reading Beloved. This is my 2nd or 3rd time reading Jazz. I actually need to start keeping better count of my rereads for Toni Morrison, but I can do that a different time. Then I read The Fervent Whites. If you don't know, I do have a podcast with one of my best friends called The League of Extraordinary Readers, and we interviewed Deshaun Charles Winslow. He's one of our favorite authors, and this is his new book that actually comes out on Tuesday, so you should be seeing this on the first Friday of June. On Tuesday this comes out, and you absolutely need it. This tells the story of a small town, a small hamlet in Saugerties, where a couple, the Whites, who happen to be from Mount Caucasus, are possibly falsely accused of a murder, and they were sent to jail, but then they get released. And their neighbor, Syl, is nervous about them being released because she told their black adopted son a secret that led to him being killed in an accident. And had she not told the secret, he would not have gone on a trip, and so on and so forth. So the whole story is trying to figure out, what do the Whites know? Are they going to retaliate? So on and so forth. Nobody writes a small town mystery the way that Deshaun Charles Winslow does. I just don't care what you say to me or what you try to convince me. No one does a short story the way that, like a small town, the way that he does. All of the characters, it's I wouldn't say necessarily that it's fast paced, but it's always a book with him, at least, that you can sink your teeth into and get to know these characters. You can see them clearly in your head. He's always written things that are very, very immersive. So you definitely need this. Go out on Tuesday and grab your copy. I'm going to save the book that I disliked the most for last. Leave Your Mess at Home is going on my list of favorites for the year. This was phenomenal. Speaking of podcasts, I also do a podcast with my mom called Well Read Wool. This is what we read together for the season finale of season 1 of our podcast. And this was such a great book. This tells the story of the Longe family in Chicago. The siblings all have different things going on, and they all have different feelings about their eldest sibling. And we learn that we don't know Sola the way that we think we know Sola, or the way that the siblings have described Sola to us. And it's like all of their lives and their quirks and their little tidbits in life kind of attribute to what they think they know about their sister. And it just is good family mess. So it all builds up to Thanksgiving dinner. And there's this like big explosion, this big argument. I laughed, I cried. It's introspective, it's family drama. It really gives you an insight on people and why people do the things that they do. Excuse me. I think we often leave out the fact that trauma isn't just the things that happen to you, right? Family trauma aren't the things that just happen to you, but it is the things that you watch happen to your siblings. It's the relationships that you have with your parents. It's the things that your parents do or don't do. This is a phenomenal book, especially for a debut. This is phenomenal. I also think, and I don't mean this in a way to like be shady. This book is what y'all thought The Wilderness was going to be in style and in content. If you read The Wilderness and you did not like it or you did not understand it, this is the book for you. This is the one for you. And then last but not least, yesteryear. This tells the story of a content creator her name is Natalie. Natalie is a trad wife creator, and she there's a scandal. I'm trying to, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. It wasn't a bad book. Let me say that. It was not a bad book. Is it the best book I've ever read? No. I think it's trying to have a deep conversation in a creative way, but I think that the conversation is only deep to people that don't have certain types of conversations at home. So it's not deep to me because I don't know. I'm not going to say the book was overhyped because I understand that books meet you where you are for the most part. So I understand why people would be hyping this book up, right? Because again, they are not having certain conversations at home. I think we forget that just because you live a fairly diverse life and you are having certain types of conversations and you are reading diversely and so on and so forth, that means other people are too, and that's inaccurate, right? Other people aren't having certain conversations at home. They're not having certain conversations with their friends. And I think when books like this become popular, that is a display of that. So it's like this made people realize the flaws with the whole trad wife thing, or is making them have certain conversations about why being a trad wife is wrong or presenting that is wrong, and the religious undertones behind it, the political undertones behind it, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it ain't what, to me, it ain't what y'all said it was. But do I think as a quote unquote thriller, was it entertaining? A little bit. I do wish it would have went in a different direction. Like, I didn't necessarily anticipate where it went or what the plot twist was, but it wasn't terrible. It's not a bad book. It just isn't as deep for me as people are saying. So that's everything that I read in the month of May. Total of 9 books. Back on track. That makes 51 books for the year. So my base number goal wise is 100. So I'm on track to make 100. So yeah, if no one has told you today, I love you. You are kind. You are smart. You are important. If to no one, to me, let me know in the comments. Have you read any of these? Do you plan on reading any of these? And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, friends.